It's a trip because for me, in just being real and, in my transparency for such a testimony, when I was growing up, it was like, oh, she acts so old, she act like somebody mama, da 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 da. And this is my story, okay? Because whatever call that God have on your life, you can't get away from it. It's just there. It's sitting on you. It's just there, you know. And you really don't come into the fullness of it until God really grows and develop you in your call, in your call and being chosen. And so as I give my own testimony and be as transparent as I can, that's just how it was for me. But God knew that there is a generation that is motherless, fatherless, parentless. God called me as early as he has called me, for such a time as this. And so, hey, it cracks me up because now here we are, 2025, and there's so many, how can I say this? There's so many compliments on, children who are young and they're entrepreneurs, they're doing success, they're successful, they're doing great, and it's like, wow, when that was my turn, I was acting old. You act so old, this and that, We're just talking, because from generation to generation, it's always a different story. I'm just giving my testimony and drawing parallel as we are having this discussion. So for anybody under the sound of my voice as well, please, we just talking right now. Because I'm an open book. I'm just being transparent and just, drawing this parallel because it's the same thing. You can't get away from the call that God has on your life. So I didn't like it, I didn't always, like to be pointed out as that. And I didn't know that I was always acting as such. I was just being myself, so it's like you can't get away from it. You're going to stick out like a sore thumb no matter what. The other thing is, I know I'm not this proper speaker. I know I have a bunch of broken English and God told me, so what? I'm giving you an anointing. So God called me to do what I'm doing with an anointing to do it. And I ain't afraid of nobody but God. When God checked me, it's like, woo-wee, I got to do what God tell me to do. People gonna be people all day long. But God has my beginning and my end. All right? All of us. And so that's why he uses me the way that he does. And, I'm teaching the way that I do because he wants me to reach you right where you are. So he formed me this way, so